Sometimes the most dangerous thing you can do is save someone's life. Because once you pull them from the darkness, they might just pull you right back in with them. This is a story about a woman who spoke words she barely understood, and a man who heard in them an echo of his childhood and his mother's death. Picture Seoul at 2 a.m, the kind of hour when the city shows its true face, not the polished business district of daylight, but the shadowy spaces where deals are made in whispers and blood washes off easier than regret. In a late-night cafe tucked away from the main streets, a young woman wipes down tables with mechanical efficiency, trying not to think about how empty her bank account is or how far she is from home. Her name is Amara Johnson. She's 27 years old, with warm brown skin, tired eyes, and the kind of quiet dignity that poverty hasn't managed to strip away yet. She came to Seoul 2 years ago, thinking she could outrun her past, a bad relationship, a worse financial decision, and the shame that came with being the woman everyone called too trusting. She learned the hard way that love and money don't mix well when you're young and hopeful, and the man you're with sees dollar signs instead of a future. So here she is, working the night shift at a cafe where most customers don't even look at her face. She's saving every cent to get back to the States, back to some version of normal where she's not always looking over her shoulder, always wondering if today's the day the last of her money disappears. But tonight, normal is about to become a memory. The man in the corner booth has been there for an hour, nursing a single cup of coffee that's long since gone cold. Amara has learned to read people in this job, the lonely ones, the dangerous ones, the ones who are running from something just like she is. This man is different. He's young, maybe mid-30s, with the kind of face that would be handsome if it weren't so carefully blank. Korean, impeccably dressed, with the posture of someone who's been trained to notice everything while revealing nothing. His name is Han Ji-woon, though Amara doesn't know that yet. What she also doesn't know is that he's the heir to the Han Group, a shipping empire that moves more than just legitimate cargo through Asia's ports. She doesn't know that right now. He's waiting for a meeting that's actually a trap, set by a rival who's decided that the best way to destabilize the Han family is to remove its future leader. And she certainly doesn't know that in about 30 seconds, she's going to save his life. It happens fast. A man enters the cafe. Another customer, or so it seems. He orders at the counter, his hand sliding into his jacket. Amara sees it before her conscious mind can process it. The flash of metal. The way the man's body shifts toward Ji-woon's booth. The deadly intent in his eyes. She doesn't think. She just moves. The tray of coffee cups crashes to the floor as she lunges forward, grabbing Ji-woon's arm and yanking him down with surprising strength. They both hit the floor hard, tumbling behind the counter as the knife slashes through empty air where Ji-woon's throat had been a second before. And in that moment of pure adrenaline and terror, Amara's mouth opens and words come out. Words her grandmother taught her years ago on a beach she barely remembers. Words in an old Jeju dialect that she's never fully understood. Dakji Myeognon Baram Burunda. The wind that eats the earth is blowing. That's what it means. Or something close to that. Her pronunciation is off. One consonant softened where it should be hard, but the rhythm is perfect. The cadence is exactly right. The attacker freezes. For just a moment, confusion crosses his face. Who is this woman? Why is she speaking in old Jeju dialect? What is happening here? It's enough. Ji-woon's security team, who've been stationed outside, burst through the door. The attacker runs. Amara and Ji-woon are left sprawled on the floor, breathing hard, surrounded by broken porcelain and spilled coffee. And Ji-woon is staring at her like he's seeing a ghost. Because 21 years ago, when he was 13 years old, he stood on a dock in Jeju Island, terrified of the water. His mother had brought him there, trying to help him face his fear of the ocean that surrounded their island home. And a little black girl, maybe 7 years old, there with her grandmother, had approached him and spoken those exact words. She'd gotten one sound wrong, just like Amara did just now, but the rhythm had been perfect. The little girl had told him it was a magic spell to make the scary waves go away. And somehow, it had worked. Not because of magic, but because her kindness had been stronger than his fear. He never forgot that moment. Never forgot that little girl's face, or the way she'd mispronounced one syllable while getting everything else exactly right. And now, here in this cafe, impossibly, he's heard those same words again. "Are you hurt?" Amara asks, switching back to Korean. Her hands are shaking as she picks herself up. Ji-woon doesn't answer right away. He's still processing. Then his eyes drop to her neck, to the necklace she's wearing, and his entire world tilts on its axis. It's a wooden pendant on a simple leather cord. The wood is Jeju cedar, carved with a symbol that most people wouldn't recognize, a mark that looks like two hearts intertwined, or maybe like waves overlapping. It's old, worn smooth by years of wear, and it belonged to his mother. He knows this with absolute certainty because he remembers the day his mother showed it to him, told him it was a family treasure passed down through generations of women in their family. He remembers the feel of that wood, the particular grain pattern, the tiny chip on one side where she'd dropped it once. He remembers the day it disappeared, the same day his mother was murdered. "Where did you get that necklace?" His voice comes out rougher than he intends, almost a demand. Amara's hand goes automatically to the pendant, protective. "My grandmother gave it to me, before she died. She got it from an old woman on Jeju Island years ago." "Why?" Ji-woon's mind is racing. This can't be coincidence. The words, the necklace, this woman appearing in his life at exactly the moment someone tries to kill him. It's too much. Too connected. His grandmother, Han Soo-ja, had told him the necklace was lost. She'd said they needed to forget about it. Forget about the old Jeju legends, because those legends had gotten his mother killed. But here it is. Around the neck of a woman who just saved his life by speaking words she learned as a child. Words in a dialect that almost no one speaks anymore. "You need to come with me," Ji-woon says, standing up. His security team is surrounding the cafe now, checking for other threats. "Right now, it's not safe for you here." "What?" "No, I'm not going anywhere with you." Amara backs away. She's learned this lesson before. Don't trust strange men who want to take you somewhere. "I don't even know who you are." "My name is Han Ji-woon. That necklace you're wearing belonged to my mother. The man who just tried to kill me, he wasn't after me. Not really. He was after that." He gestures to the pendant. "Which means that now, he's after you too." Amara's stomach drops. "That's insane. Why would anyone want this? It's just an old piece of wood." "No, it's not. It's called the Jeju mark, and there are people who believe it has power. Power over my family, over our business, over things you don't understand yet." Ji-woon steps closer, and Amara sees something in his eyes that makes her pause. Not threat. Fear. For her. "I know you have no reason to trust me. I know this sounds like madness, but I'm telling you the truth. If you stay here tonight, you'll disappear. Maybe they'll just take the necklace. Maybe they'll take more. But you won't be safe." Amara looks around the cafe, her coworker hiding behind the counter, the broken cups on the floor, the door where the attacker fled. She thinks about her empty bank account, her tiny apartment, her plan to just keep her head down and save enough money to leave. And she thinks about the genuine fear in this stranger's voice when he talks about her disappearing. "Who was that man?" she asks. "The one with the knife?" "Someone working for Baek Jun-ho, a rival of my family's. He doesn't just want to hurt us, He wants to destroy the last piece of my mother's legacy, and you're wearing it around your neck. Amara's hand closes around the pendant. Her grandmother gave her this necklace on her deathbed, told her it would keep her safe. She'd said it came from a kind old woman on Jeju who'd sensed that Amara's grandmother needed protection. Had that old woman been Ji-woon's mother? If I come with you, Amara says slowly, it's just for tonight. Just until I can figure out what's going on. And I'm keeping my necklace. I wouldn't ask you to give it up, Ji-woon says. Something crosses his face. Pain, memory, loss. My mother would have wanted you to have it. She believed in protecting people who needed protection. Especially. He stops himself. Especially what? Especially people like you. Outsiders. People the rest of my family would have dismissed. He meets her eyes. She was killed for that belief. For thinking that our power should be used to protect, not just to control. And that's how Amara finds herself in the back of a sleek black car, driving through Seoul's pre-dawn streets, toward a part of the city where the buildings get taller and the security gets tighter. She clutches her grandmother's necklace and tries not to think about how completely her life just changed in the space of 5 minutes. In the front seat, Ji-woon makes a series of phone calls in rapid Korean. She catches enough to understand he's talking about securing a location, running background checks, and something about the Jeju situation resurfacing. Finally, he turns to her. I need to ask you something. When you were a child, when you visited Jeju, do you remember a boy? Korean? Maybe 12 or 13? Afraid of the water? Amara thinks back. She was so young. Maybe 7? Her grandmother had taken her to Jeju for reasons she never fully understood. They'd stayed for a week, and most of it was a blur. But there was one day, one moment. There was a boy, she says slowly. He was sitting on a dock, crying. My grandmother told me to go talk to him, help him feel better. So I taught him the words she'd taught me, the words about the wind. She said they were a charm to make fear go away. She looks at Ji-woon. That was you? He nods. You held my hand. You told me the ocean was just trying to talk to us, not hurt us. You got me to put my feet in the water for the first time in months. He pauses. My mother was watching. She was so happy. She took off her necklace and went over to your grandmother. Gave it to her as a thank you. She said. His voice catches. She said that anyone who could show her son kindness deserved to carry the Jeju mark. The pieces are clicking together now, forming a picture Amara doesn't fully understand, but can't deny. So all of this, you, me, that necklace, it's all connected to that one day? It's connected to much more than that. My mother died 6 months after we left Jeju. Someone in our organization betrayed her, sold information to a rival family. They said it was about business, about territory. But my grandmother, she said it was because of the Jeju mark. Because my mother believed in the old legends, believed that power without protection was just tyranny. And the people around her, the ones who wanted power without conscience, they couldn't allow that. They arrive at a building that looks like an upscale apartment complex from the outside, but the security is intense. Cameras, guards, the kind of protocols you see in movies about organized crime. Because that's what this is, Amara realizes with a sinking feeling. She's just entered the world of Asian organized crime, and there's no easy way out. The penthouse they enter is beautiful but austere. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlook Seoul's glittering skyline, modern furniture, expensive art, everything clean and precise. It looks more like a showroom than a home. This is a safe house, Ji-woon explains. No one outside my immediate circle knows about it. You'll be secure here while we figure out what to do. What to do about what? Amara demands. She's tired, scared, and reaching the limit of how much strangeness she can handle in one night. I'm not part of your family drama. I'm just a woman who happened to wear the wrong necklace to work. You're not just anything. Ji-woon's intensity makes her step back. You saved my life tonight. You spoke words that only my mother and a handful of elders would know. You're wearing a mark that my family has been searching for since the day my mother died. And the man who tried to kill me tonight, Baek Jun-ho, he's not going to stop until he has that necklace, because he believes it's the key to destroying my family's power. That's insane, Amara says again. It's just a piece of wood. In your world, yes. In mine, symbols matter. Legends matter. The Jeju mark is supposed to protect the person who wears it, but only if they have a pure heart. My grandmother tried to bury the legend after my mother died, because she thought it was just superstition that got her daughter killed. But Baek, he believes in it. He believes that if he can take the mark and corrupt it, use it for his own purposes, he can break my family's power at its source. Amara sinks into a chair. This is crazy. I came to Seoul to work, save money, and leave. I'm not equipped for any of this. Ji-woon crouches in front of her, bringing himself to her eye level. I know, and I'm sorry you've been pulled into this, but we can keep you safe. We can make sure Baek doesn't touch you. And maybe... He stops, considers. Maybe you being here isn't an accident. Maybe my mother knew something we didn't. Maybe she gave that necklace to your grandmother because she saw something in you, something that could help us. Help you do what? Change things. My mother wanted to transform our family's business, make it about protection and legitimate trade instead of just power and control. She died before she could make it happen. But the fact that the Jeju mark has found its way back to us, through you, maybe that's a sign that it's time to try again. Amara looks at this man, this stranger who's somehow connected to her childhood, to her grandmother, to a future she never imagined, and she makes a decision that will change everything. Okay, she says, I'll stay, for now, but I want answers, real ones, about your mother, about this mark, about all of it. Ji-woon nods. You'll get them. I promise. What neither of them knows yet is that in another part of Seoul, Baek Jun-ho is making phone calls of his own. He's not just a rival crime boss, he's a man with a vendetta. His own mother was destroyed by the Han family's power decades ago, and he's spent his entire life planning revenge. The Jeju mark was supposed to be gone, buried with Han Ji-woon's mother. Its reappearance changes everything, and Baek has a gift for psychological warfare. He won't just attack with violence, he'll dig into Amara's past, find her weaknesses, exploit every vulnerability. He'll make her doubt herself, doubt Ji-woon, doubt everything she thought she knew about right and wrong. The war for the Jeju mark has begun. And the battlefield isn't just Seoul's streets. It's the hearts and minds of everyone involved. The penthouse becomes Amara's world for the next 3 days. She doesn't leave, doesn't go back to her apartment, doesn't contact anyone from her old life. Ji-woon assures her that his people are watching her place, making sure Baek's men don't get any ideas about going through her things. But the isolation is starting to wear on her. She spends hours staring out those enormous windows, watching Seoul pulse with life below while she's trapped in this beautiful cage. Ji-woon comes and goes, always with security, always looking tired. His world is in upheaval. The attack at the cafe wasn't an isolated incident. Baek is making moves throughout the city, challenging the Han family's territory in ways that require constant response. But in the evenings, Ji-woon stays. And slowly, carefully, they begin to know each other. It's on the 3rd night that Amara accidentally discovers the hidden room. She's looking for the kitchen, still not entirely familiar with the penthouse's layout, when she leans against what she thinks is a solid wall. It clicks inward slightly, and a seam appears. a door so well disguised she'd walked past it a dozen times without noticing. She shouldn't open it. She knows this. This isn't her home. These aren't her secrets to discover. But curiosity, and maybe something deeper, makes her push the door open. Inside is a small room, more of a large closet really, lined with built-in shelves. And on those shelves are letters. Hundreds of them, in careful handwriting on paper that's yellowed with age. They're in Korean, but Amara can make out the dates. They span years, starting when Ji-woon would have been a child and ending abruptly 21 years ago. His mother's letters. Letters she never sent. Thoughts she never shared. Dreams she never got to fulfill. Amara knows she shouldn't read them, but one has slipped from its pile and landed open on the small desk in the corner, and the date on it. It's from just a week before his mother died. She can't help herself. She reads. The Korean is formal, poetic, but she can follow enough to understand. If my son ever finds a person who makes him want to be more than just the heir, more than just the next leader, someone who reminds him that he's human, not just a position, I hope he won't lock them in the darkness of the Han family. I hope he'll show them the Jeju sunlight. The kind of light that doesn't demand anything, just warms everything it touches. Amara's eyes well up. This woman, this mother she never knew, she'd understood something fundamental. That power without humanity becomes poison. That love isn't about possession, it's about setting free. You found it. She spins around. Ji-woon is standing in the doorway, and for a moment she's terrified he'll be angry, but he just looks sad. I'm sorry, Amara starts. I didn't mean to intrude, It's okay. This isn't exactly classified information, it's just… He steps into the small room, picks up one of the letters. It's hard to read them. All the things she wanted to say but never did. All the ways she wanted to change things but never got the chance. She loved you very much, Amara says softly. That's clear in every word. She loved the idea of who I could become. I'm not sure she would have loved who I actually am. Ji-woon's voice is bitter. I run an empire built on intimidation and control. I make decisions every day that she would have hated. I've become exactly what she didn't want. Another Han heir who values power over people. Is that really true? Amara challenges. Because the man I've seen this week, he gave me clothes to wear, food to eat, a safe place to stay. He didn't demand anything in return. He didn't try to take my necklace, even though it clearly means something to him. That doesn't sound like a man who only values power. Ji-woon looks at her for a long moment. You don't understand what my world requires, the decisions I have to make. Then help me understand. Tell me about your mother. Tell me what the Jeju mark really means. Stop treating me like a guest who needs to be protected and start treating me like someone who's part of this now. So he does. They sit on the floor of that small room, surrounded by his mother's words, and Ji-woon tells her the story. The Jeju mark isn't just a necklace. It's a symbol of an old tradition, one that goes back centuries on Jeju Island, to a time when women divers called haenyeo were the primary breadwinners for their families. These women dove into dangerous waters to harvest seafood, and they developed a culture of mutual support and fierce independence. The mark was given to women who embodied those values: strength, protection, and the courage to dive into darkness and resurface with something precious. Ji-woon's mother had been given the mark by her own grandmother, who'd been a haenyeo in her youth. His mother believed that the Han family's power should operate the same way, diving into the darkness of the criminal world, yes, but always resurfacing with something that protected people rather than just controlled them. She'd started programs to help women escape trafficking. She'd used the family's resources to shut down operations that exploited children. She'd believed that if you had power, you had a responsibility to use it for protection, not just profit. And the old guard of the Han family had hated her for it. They'd seen her as weak, sentimental, too soft to run an empire. When she died, they'd insisted it was Baek's people who killed her. But Ji-woon's grandmother, Suja, had always suspected it might have been someone from within their own organization. Someone who wanted to make sure the Jeju mark and everything it represented died with her. So my grandmother buried it, Ji-woon says. She told me to forget about the old legends, to be practical, to survive. And I did. I learned to be the heir they wanted, cold, strategic, willing to do what needed to be done. I turned myself into stone so nothing could crack me. But you're not stone, Amara says gently. You're right here, telling me all of this. That takes courage. Or stupidity? But Ji-woon almost smiles. You know what the strange thing is? Since you've been here, I've been sleeping better. I haven't had the nightmares I usually get. The ones where I'm drowning and I can't reach the surface. It's like... He stops, seeming embarrassed. Like what? Like that day on Jeju. When you held my hand and told me the ocean wasn't trying to hurt me. For the first time in years, I feel like maybe the darkness isn't trying to drown me either. The moment stretches between them, charged with something neither of them is ready to name. Then Amara's phone buzzes, breaking the spell. She pulls it out, frowning at the notification. Then her face goes pale. What's wrong? Ji-woon asks immediately, going on alert. My bank account. Amara's voice shakes. It's been frozen. All of it. I can't access anything. Not my savings. Not the money I was sending home to my mother. Nothing. Ji-woon's expression darkens. Baek. How? How could he even... I'm nobody. I have barely any money anyway. Why would he... And then she understands. To make me leave. If I can't access my money, can't work, can't support myself, I'd have no choice but to go back to the States. Which would take you, and the Jeju mark, away from me. Ji-woon pulls out his own phone, already calling someone. He's not attacking you directly because that would bring my full attention. But if he can make Seoul impossible for you to stay in, make you choose to leave, that's cleaner, smarter. Amara laughs, but there's no humor in it. He did his homework. This is exactly what happened to me before. My ex-boyfriend drained my accounts, left me with nothing. I swore I'd never be in that position again, never be dependent on someone else. And now? She gestures helplessly. I'm right back where I started. Broke and at someone else's mercy. You're not at my mercy, Ji-woon says firmly. And you're not broke. I'll make sure you have whatever you need. No. Amara stands up abruptly. That's exactly what I can't do. Don't you see? The moment I start taking money from you, I'm trapped. I become another person you have to support, another obligation, another possession, and I can't be that person again. You're not a possession, you're... Ji-woon stops, frustrated. You're someone who's been caught up in my family's mess through no fault of your own. Let me help you. Help me how? Give me money? That just makes me dependent on you. Get my accounts unfrozen? Big will just attack me some other way. Amara wraps her arms around herself. Maybe he's right. Maybe I should just go home. Give you the necklace. Leave Seoul. Forget any of this ever happened. Is that what you want? The question hangs in the air. And Amara realizes she doesn't know the answer. A week ago, leaving Seoul was all she wanted. But now, standing in this hidden room full of a dead woman's letters, talking to a man who's shown her more genuine respect than anyone has in years, now she's not sure. I don't know what I want anymore, she admits. Before Ji-woon can respond, his phone rings. He answers it, his expression growing more and more grim as he listens. Finally, he hangs up. What is it? Amara asks. We have a problem, a bigger one than your bank account. Ji-woon runs a hand through his hair. Someone inside this safe house has been feeding information to Bayek. Someone on my own security team. They know you're here. They know about the necklace, and they're planning something. How do you know? Because we just caught them. One of my youngest guards, Kang Min, he was sending encrypted messages. My tech people traced them back to Beck's network. Ji-woon's face is hard. The protocol in my world is simple. Betray us, you die, but what? But when we interrogated him, he broke down. His mother is sick, dying. He's been supporting her treatment, but it's expensive. Baek promised to pay all her medical bills if Kangmin would just tell him a few things. Locations, schedules. Nothing that seemed like it would really hurt anyone. Ji-woon's jaw clenches. He's 24 years old. He was desperate, and Beck used that. Amara thinks about the letters they were just reading. About Ji-woon's mother, who believed power should protect rather than just punish. What are you going to do? I don't know. If I let him live, I look weak. My own people will question my authority. But if I have him killed, Ji-woon closes his eyes. I become exactly what my mother didn't want. Someone who values power over humanity. What would she do? Amara asks quietly. If she were still alive? Ji-woon is quiet for a long time. Then, she'd find another way. Some way to show both mercy and strength. But I don't know what that looks like in practice. Maybe, Amara says slowly. It looks like paying for his mother's treatment yourself. Clearing his debt to Beck. And then giving him a choice. Work for you. Really work for you. Helping to build whatever your mother wanted to build. Or walk away, free and clear, with the understanding that if he betrays you again, there won't be a second chance. Ji-woon stares at her. That's not how things are done in my world. Then maybe it's time to change how things are done. For a moment, Amara sees something shift in Ji-woon's expression. Hope warring with fear. Possibility fighting against precedent. And she understands that this man is standing at a crossroads, trying to decide who he wants to be. Come with me, he says finally. I want you to meet someone. They leave the hidden room and go down to the penthouse's lower level, where Kangmin is being held. The young man looks terrified, sitting in a chair with 2 guards flanking him. When he sees Ji-woon, he begins to shake. I'm sorry, Kangmin says immediately. I'm so sorry, I never meant. My mother, she's dying, and I didn't know what else to do. I know, Ji-woon says, and his voice is surprisingly gentle. How much does Beck owe you? Kangmin blinks in confusion. What? For your mother's treatment. How much did he promise to pay? 200 million won, but I know I can't. I don't expect. The young man is barely holding himself together. Ji-woon pulls out his phone, makes a call, gives some instructions. Then he looks back at Kangmin. As of right now, your mother's medical bills are paid, all of them, and her treatment is covered for the next year, no matter what it costs. Kangmin's mouth opens and closes soundlessly. But, Ji-woon continues, you're going to work for me, really work for me, not just security. I want you to help build something new. A program to help families like yours, people who get desperate and make bad choices because they're out of options. We're going to use some of the Han family's resources to make sure people don't have to choose between saving their family and betraying their principles. I don't understand, Kangmin whispers. My mother wanted to change things, to use our power for protection instead of just control. She died before she could make it happen. But maybe it's not too late to start. Ji-woon glances at Amara. Someone recently reminded me that mercy and strength aren't opposites. They're 2 sides of the same coin. Tears are running down Kangmin's face now. Thank you. Thank you. I swear I'll never... I know. Because you understand what's at stake now. You understand that there's another way to live, even in this world. Jiwoon's expression hardens slightly. But understand this too. I'm taking a risk on you. If you betray that trust again, there won't be mercy. There will only be consequences. Can you live with that? Yes. Yes, sir. I swear it. After Kang Min is led away to begin his new role, Amara and Jiwoon stand together in the empty room. That was dangerous, Jiwoon says. My grandmother is going to be furious. The old guard will see it as weakness. Or, Amara counters, they'll see it as strength. Real strength. The kind that doesn't need to prove itself through violence. Jiwoon looks at her, and there's something raw in his expression. You're dangerous too, you know. You make me want to be better. And in my world, wanting to be better than what you are, that can get you killed. Your mother wanted better for you. For everyone. Amara touches the Jeju mark at her throat. Maybe that's what this really means. Not power for its own sake, but the courage to dive into darkness and bring back something worth having. Like hope? Like change. They're standing very close now, close enough that Amara can see the flecks of gold in Jiwoon's dark eyes, can feel the warmth radiating from him. For just a moment, the walls between them, the ones built from different worlds and different fears, feel paper thin. But before either of them can move closer, Jiwoon's phone rings again. He answers it, and Amara watches his face go hard. What is it? She asks when he hangs up. My grandmother. She's calling a family council. Tomorrow night. Jiwoon's voice is tight. She knows you're here. She knows about Kang Min. And she's demanding that I bring you before the entire Han family leadership. Why? To decide what to do with you. With the Jeju mark. With all of it. He meets her eyes. Beck will be there too. As a neutral negotiator between our families. And he's been digging into your past, Amara. Your ex-boyfriend. The money you lost. All of it. He's going to use it against you. Try to make you look unstable or untrustworthy. Amara's blood runs cold. Her biggest shame, her deepest wound, about to be paraded in front of strangers. Can't you just refuse to go? Not without declaring war on my own family. My grandmother still holds too much power. If I defy her on this, it splits the Han family in half. Jiwoon's expression is anguished. I'm sorry. I should have protected you better. I should have seen this coming. It's not your fault. But Amara feels sick. She came to Seoul to escape her past, and now it's about to be weaponized against her in ways she never imagined. That night, she barely sleeps. She keeps touching the Jeju mark, wondering if Jiwoon's mother ever imagined it would end up here, with a broken young woman who's about to face a room full of powerful people who see her as nothing but a liability. Tomorrow, she'll have to decide. Run, like every instinct is telling her to do. Or stay and fight for something she barely understands but feels, somehow, is worth fighting for. The rain starts in the early morning and doesn't stop. By the time evening comes, Seoul is drenched, the streets reflecting neon lights like fractured mirrors. Amara watches from the car window as they drive through the city, Jiwoon silent beside her, and thinks about all the ways this night could go wrong. The Han family compound isn't what she expected. It's modern, all glass and steel, built to look like a legitimate corporate headquarters, which, in a way, it is. The Han Group's shipping business is real, legal, and enormously profitable. It's just that underneath all that legitimacy runs a network of power that has nothing to do with shipping manifests and everything to do with control. Jiwoon hasn't spoken much since they left the penthouse. He's wearing a suit that probably costs more than Amara made in 6 months, his expression locked into the cold mask she recognizes now as his armor. But she can see the tension in his shoulders, the way his hand keeps clenching and unclenching on his knee. Are you afraid? She asks quietly. Terrified, he admits, and the honesty surprises her. Not of what they'll do to me, but of what they might do to you, what I might not be able to stop. Then why are we doing this? Why not just run? Take the necklace and disappear? Ji-woon looks at her, and there's something fierce in his expression. Because if we run now, we'll always be running. Bik will never stop. My family will hunt us. And everything my mother tried to build, every hope she had for change, it dies completely. He pauses. But also, I need you to know something. If this goes badly, if they demand I choose between you and the family, I know. You'll choose the family. I understand that. No. His hand finds hers, warm and solid. I was going to say, I'll choose you. Every time. Because you're the first person in years who's made me remember that I'm more than just an heir, more than just a position in a criminal empire. He struggles for words. You're the proof that my mother was right, that there's another way to live, even in this darkness. Amara's throat tightens. Don't say things like that. Don't make promises you can't keep. I'm not. Ji-woon's grip tightens. I'm telling you the truth. Whatever happens tonight, I want you to know. Meeting you changed me. The Jeju mark didn't come back into my life by accident. My mother, somehow, I think she knew. That one day, someone would come along who could help me become who I'm supposed to be. They arrive before Amara can respond. Guards are everywhere, checking IDs, scanning for weapons. They're led through sleek corridors to a conference room that's all windows and hard surfaces, designed to intimidate. And it works. The room is already full. Amara counts maybe 20 people. Older men and women, mostly, all dressed in expensive clothes and wearing expressions of cold assessment. At the head of the table sits an elderly woman who must be Han Soo-ja, Ji-woon's grandmother. She's smaller than Amara expected, but her presence fills the room. This is a woman who's survived decades in a man's world by being smarter and more ruthless than anyone else. And sitting to her right, wearing a smile that doesn't reach his eyes, is Baek Joon-ho. He's younger than Amara expected, maybe 40, with the kind of handsome face that would be trustworthy if you didn't look too closely at the coldness in his eyes. He stands when they enter, ever the gentleman, and nods respectfully to Ji-woon. Thank you for coming, he says, as if this were a friendly business meeting. I know this must be uncomfortable for you both. Cut the pleasantries, Baek, Ji-woon says flatly. You called this council. Say what you have to say. Baek's smile sharpens. Very well. I'll be direct. He pulls out a folder, old school, physical documents, and slides it across the table toward Soo-ja. This is everything I could find about Ms. Amara Johnson, and I think the family should know who's been living in your grandson's safe house, wearing your daughter-in-law's necklace. Amara's stomach drops. Soo-ja opens the folder, reads for a moment, then looks up at Amara with an expression that could freeze fire. Is it true that you lost over $50,000 to a man you were dating, that he convinced you to give him access to your accounts and then cleaned you out? Every pair of eyes in the room turns to Amara. She feels naked, exposed. Every mistake she's ever made laid out for judgment. Yes, she says, forcing her voice to stay steady. It's true. And you came to Korea shortly after, nearly bankrupt, taking whatever work you could find? Yes. So you understand, Baek says, his voice dripping with false sympathy. Why we might be concerned. A woman with a history of poor judgment, of being easily manipulated. Now she appears in Ji-woon's life, wearing a priceless family heirloom, at exactly the moment our families are in conflict. It's quite the coincidence. It's not a coincidence, Ji-woon says sharply. I'm speaking to Ms. Johnson, Baek interrupts smoothly. She's the one wearing the Jeju mark. She's the one who needs to explain how she came to possess something that disappeared the night your mother died. He turns to Amara and his eyes are like knives. Tell us, Ms. Johnson. How exactly did you get that necklace? Amara's hand goes to the pendant automatically, protective. My grandmother gave it to me. She got it from a woman on Jeju Island years ago, as a thank you. A thank you for what? Beck presses. What exactly did your grandmother do to deserve such a valuable gift? She didn't do anything. I was the one. I met Ji-woon when we were children. I helped him. His mother gave the necklace to my grandmother as a gesture of gratitude. How convenient. And you just happened to keep it all these years? Just happened to be wearing it the night someone tried to kill Ji-woon? Beck shakes his head. Or perhaps, and I'm just speculating here, you've been working with me all along. Perhaps I sent you to that cafe specifically, knowing Ji-woon would be there, knowing he'd be drawn to you and that necklace. That's insane, Amara says, but she can see doubt creeping into some of the faces around the table. Is it? You're broke, desperate, with a history of being easily manipulated. I could have paid you off, promised to restore the money you lost. All you had to do was wear the necklace, say the right words, make Ji-woon trust you. Beck's voice is deadly reasonable. And now here you are, with access to all his secrets, all his vulnerabilities. If I wanted to destroy the Han family from within, this would be exactly how I'd do it. That's enough. Ji-woon's voice cuts through the room like a blade. You've made your point. You think Amara is a plant, a spy, whatever. But you're wrong. Am I? Beck turns to Suja. Matriarch, you know better than anyone what the Jeju mark represents. You know the legends, that it protects the pure of heart, but destroys those who would use it for selfish gain. Your daughter-in-law believed in those legends. She died believing them. And now this woman appears, wearing the mark, bringing with her nothing but trouble and questions. If she were truly worthy of it, wouldn't things be getting better for your family? Instead, everything is falling apart. Suja stands slowly, and the entire room falls silent. She walks around the table until she's standing directly in front of Amara. I buried the Jeju legends when my daughter died, she says, her voice carrying the weight of decades. I told my grandson to forget the old ways, to be practical, to survive, because I still believe, that those legends got her killed. That believing in protection and honor and all those beautiful ideals made her weak, made her a target. She reaches out and touches the necklace, her fingers trembling slightly. I searched for this for years. I wanted to destroy it, to make sure it could never hurt my family again. And now you bring it back. I didn't mean to. Amara starts. Be quiet. Suja's eyes are fierce. I'm not finished. You come here with nothing. No power, no position, no way to defend yourself. You're exactly the kind of person my daughter would have protected. The kind of person she gave this mark to. She pauses. And my grandson looks at you the way he's never looked at anyone else, with hope, with something like joy, and that terrifies me more than anything Beck could do. Grandmother, Ji-woon begins. Because hope gets you killed in our world, Suja continues, ignoring him. Love gets you killed, believing that you can be more than what this life demands, that gets you killed. She steps back. So, I'm going to give you a choice, Ms. Johnson. You can leave. Walk away right now. Take the necklace, go back to America, forget any of this happened. I'll make sure Beck doesn't follow you. I'll clear your debts, give you enough money to start over properly. All you have to do is disappear from my grandson's life. Amara feels Ji-woon tense beside her, but he doesn't speak. This is her choice, her decision. And if I stay? She asks quietly. then you're choosing all of this. The danger, the judgment, the fact that your worst mistakes will be used against you whenever it's convenient. You're choosing to stand beside a man who lives in darkness and might never fully escape it. Suja's expression softens, just barely. My daughter made that choice. She thought she could change things from within, and she died for it. The room is utterly silent. Rain drums against the windows, and Amara can feel everyone watching, waiting to see what she'll do. She thinks about her grandmother who gave her the necklace and told her it would keep her safe. She thinks about Ji-woon's mother, writing letters about sunlight and hope that she never got to send. She thinks about the little boy on the dock who was afraid of the ocean, and how holding his hand changed both their lives in ways neither of them understood at the time. And she thinks about the man beside her now. Complicated, flawed, dangerous, but trying so hard to be better than what his world demands. I'm staying, Amara says. Her voice doesn't shake. Not because I think I can change everything, not because I'm naive enough to believe love conquers all, but because... She looks at Ji-woon. Because he makes me brave. Because for the first time since I lost everything, I feel like maybe my mistakes don't define me. Maybe I can be more than just the woman who trusted the wrong person. How touching, Beck says, his voice dripping with contempt. But sentiment doesn't change facts. She's a liability. A weakness you can't afford. You're wrong. Ji-woon stands, and there's something in his posture that makes everyone pay attention. She's not a weakness. She's the strongest person in this room. Don't be ridiculous. She survived being betrayed and losing everything. She came to a foreign country with nothing and built a life from scratch. She walked into danger to save a stranger. Me. Without a second thought. And now she's standing here, facing all of you, knowing you're judging her for her worst moment. And she's not backing down. Ji-woon's voice is fierce. That's not weakness. That's the kind of strength my mother believed in. The kind of strength the Jeju mark recognizes. He reaches down and takes off something from his wrist. A jade bracelet that Amara's noticed before, but never asked about. This belonged to my grandfather. In our family, it represents the authority to lead. The right to make decisions for the clan. He places it on the table with a soft click. I'm giving it up. Right now. In front of all of you. The room erupts. Multiple people start talking at once, voices raised in shock and protest. Suja's face goes pale. Ji-woon, what are you doing? She demands. I'm choosing. His voice cuts through the noise. You all want me to choose between power and love, between family and this woman. Fine. I choose her. I choose to try to be the kind of man my mother wanted me to be, even if that means walking away from everything you think I should want. You're throwing away your birthright, one of the elders shouts. No, I'm refusing to let my birthright turn me into stone. I'm refusing to believe that the only way to survive in this world is to stop being human. Ji-woon turns to Amara. You didn't walk into my life. You pulled me out of the darkness I called home, and I'm not going back. Not even for this. Amara's eyes are burning with tears she refuses to let fall. You can't just... You don't have to give up everything for me. I'm not giving it up for you. I'm giving it up for me. Because you showed me there's another way to live, and I'd rather have that than all the power in the world. Suja is shaking her head, looking older than Amara has seen her. You stupid boy, you beautiful stupid boy. You're just like her, just like your mother. I hope so, Ji-woon says quietly. I really hope so. There's a long silence. Then Suja does something unexpected. She laughs. It's a tired, sad sound, but genuine. The Jeju mark chose well, she says finally. I was wrong to try to bury it. Wrong to think that protecting you meant keeping you from becoming like your mother. She picks up the jade bracelet and walks over to Ji-woon. But I'm not giving you this back. Not yet. If you want to lead this family, if you want to change it the way your mother wanted, you're going to have to earn it. By showing us that strength and mercy can coexist, that we can be powerful without being monsters. She turns to address the entire room. We're going to try something new. We're going to see if my grandson can build what his mother dreamed of, an organization that protects people instead of just exploiting them. And if he fails, if it all falls apart, then we'll go back to the old ways. But we owe it to her memory to try. And what about me? Beck asks. His carefully constructed calm is starting to crack. What about our agreement? Our negotiation? There is no negotiation, Suja says flatly. You wanted to destroy the Jeju mark, to finish what you started when you helped kill my daughter. I didn't kill her. Beck's composure shatters completely. Your own people did that. I just wanted justice for my mother, for what your family did to her. And in seeking that justice, you became exactly what you claim to hate. Suja's voice is cold. You're dismissed, Beck. Leave now, before I forget that we're supposed to be having a civil meeting. Beck stands, his face twisted with rage. He looks at Ji-woon and Amara. This isn't over. You think you can change things? You think love is going to protect you? You're both fools, and fools die young in our world. Maybe, Ji-woon says, but at least we'll die knowing we tried to be more than what you are. Beck leaves, and slowly the other family members file out as well. Some look disapproving, some thoughtful, some cautiously hopeful. Finally, only Ji-woon, Amara, and Suja remain. The old woman looks at them both for a long moment. Then she reaches up and touches Amara's cheek gently. Take care of him, she says. He's going to need you. This path, it won't be easy. There will be people who resist, who want to go back to the old ways. And there will be days when he doubts himself, when he wonders if he made the right choice. I know, Amara says, but he won't be alone. That's what the Jeju mark means, right? You don't dive into dark waters by yourself. You have someone watching, someone ready to pull you back up if you need help. Suja smiles, really smiles, for the first time. My daughter would have liked you very much. After she leaves, Amara and Ji-woon stand alone in the conference room, rain still falling outside. The city lights blurred and beautiful through the wet glass. You know what the strangest thing is? Ji-woon says, for the first time in my life, I feel like I can breathe, like I'm not drowning anymore. Is that a good thing or a terrifying thing? Both. He takes her hand, the one that's been touching the Jeju mark unconsciously. I meant what I said. You pulled me out of darkness, and I don't know where we go from here, or how we build what my mother wanted, or if we're both completely crazy for trying. But I know I want to try. With you. Not for me, Amara corrects gently. With me. That's the difference. I'm not your salvation project or your redemption. I'm just someone who's walking the same path, trying to figure out how to be better than my worst moments. Fair enough. Ji-woon pulls her closer, and they stand together, forehead to forehead, breathing the same air. So where do we start? We start with Kang Min's program, the one for families who are desperate. We start small, help people who need it, and we build from there. Amara's mind is already working. And maybe we reach out to other families, other organizations. Show them there's another way to operate, one that doesn't require crushing everyone beneath you. That's going to take years, maybe decades. Then we'd better get started. They kiss then, finally, and it's not the passionate, consuming kiss of movies. It's gentler than that. Careful and questioning and full of promise. It's the kiss of two people who've been drowning in their own ways and have finally found solid ground to stand on together. When they pull apart, Amara realizes something. The Jeju mark. Your grandmother said it protects the pure of heart but destroys those who use it for selfish gain. But I don't think that's quite right. No? No. I think it protects people who are trying, who are imperfect and broken and making mistakes, but who keep trying to do better. That's what your mother was doing. That's what we're doing now. The mark doesn't demand perfection. It just demands effort, honesty, the courage to keep diving into the dark water, knowing you might not always find treasure, but you're going to try anyway. Ji-woon touches the necklace, then covers Amara's hand with his own. My mother used to say that the best treasures aren't jewels or gold. They're moments of human connection, times when you choose kindness over cruelty, even when cruelty would be easier. She sounds like she was an amazing woman. She was, and I think... Ji-woon's voice catches. I think she'd be happy. Seeing you wear her necklace. Seeing me finally understand what she was trying to teach me. They leave the compound together, walking out into the rain without an umbrella. By the time they reach the car, they're both soaked, laughing at the absurdity of it. And Amara thinks about the scared little boy who was afraid of water, and how far he's come. How far they've both come. The days that follow are challenging. There are family members who resist the changes Ji-woon wants to make. There are rivals like Baek, who see vulnerability in the new approach and try to exploit it. And there are moments when both Ji-woon and Amara question whether they're doing the right thing. But slowly, carefully, they build something new. The program for desperate families grows, helping people like Kang Min who feel trapped by circumstances. They establish new trade routes that are entirely legitimate, proving that the Han shipping empire can thrive without criminal activity. And they reach out to other organizations, showing that cooperation can be more profitable than constant conflict. It's not easy. There are setbacks and failures, and days when going back to the old ways would be so much simpler. But they keep trying. 6 months after the family council, on a quiet evening in the penthouse that's become their home, Amara finds Ji-woon in the hidden room, the one full of his mother's letters. He's holding a new letter, one he's writing himself. What's that? She asks. A letter to my mother. I know she'll never read it, but I thought... He pauses. I thought maybe it would help. To tell her about what we're trying to build. To let her know that her son finally understood. Amara sits beside him, reading over his shoulder. The letter is in Korean, but she's been learning, and she can make out enough. Mother, I met someone who makes me understand what you meant about the sunlight. Someone who doesn't try to save me or fix me, but who walks beside me and reminds me that I'm human. The Jeju mark came back, and with it, a chance to finally build what you wanted. I don't know if I'll succeed, but I'm trying. For you, for her, for myself. That's beautiful, Amara says softly. It's true. That's all that matters. Ji-woon sets the letter aside and pulls out something else. A small carved wooden pendant, identical to the Jeju mark but new, unmarred by age. I had this made. It's not a replacement for your necklace. Call it a companion, a reminder that we're both diving into the deep water together. He places it in her palm. The carving shows 2 hearts overlapping, just like the original, but with an addition. Small waves surrounding them, protective rather than threatening. The Jeju Haeunyo always worked in pairs, Ji-woon explains. One dives while the other watches from the surface, ready to help if needed. They take turns. They protect each other. That's what this means, that we're partners. Equal partners. Amara's eyes fill with tears. I love you, she says, and it's the first time either of them has said it out loud. Not because you gave up power for me, but because you're trying so hard to be better, to build something worth having. I love you too, and I'm terrified of screwing this up. of failing you or disappointing everyone or proving that my grandmother was right to bury the Jeju legends. Jiwoon's voice is raw. But I'm more terrified of not trying, of going back to being that stone man who couldn't feel anything. Then we keep trying. Together. That's all we can do. They sit in that small room, surrounded by the words of a woman who dreamed of better things, and they make their own promises. Not grand declarations or dramatic vows, but simple commitments. To keep choosing humanity over power, mercy over vengeance, hope over fear. Outside, Seoul glitters under a clear sky. The rain has finally stopped, and the city looks washed clean, full of possibility. Somewhere out there, Beck is probably planning his next move. Somewhere, members of the Han family are doubting whether these changes will last. And somewhere, people who are desperate and afraid are finding help they didn't think existed. The Jeju mark rests against Amara's heart, warm and solid. And she understands now what Jiwoon's mother knew all along. The mark doesn't make you powerful. It doesn't make you invincible. It just reminds you that diving into darkness is less frightening when you know someone's watching out for you, when you know that strength and gentleness, power and protection can exist in the same heart. Love doesn't conquer all, but it makes the fight worthwhile, and sometimes that's enough. True love doesn't transform another person into a crown for you to wear. It's having the courage to take off your crown so that your heart doesn't turn to stone. Dear friends, especially those of you who have lived long enough to understand the weight of choices, have you ever had to choose between holding on to power, your pride, your dignity, your long-held habits, and holding on to someone who made your heart soft again? If you could go back, what would you choose? Has there ever been someone in your life like a Jeju mark? Not powerful, not wealthy, but whose simple kindness pulled you out of some darkness you'd been living in? Please share a small story in the comments below about a person, a word, a moment that helped you choose love over fear. Who knows? Your story might become the mark of hope that another heart needs right now.